Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. It is 2 o'clock. I'm Eric Alarid, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, joined as I am each and every single week by the one and only Dawn Dantzler, Vice President of Marketing and, more importantly, Customer Experience for Tilson Homes. Howdy, Dawn.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
It's going great. We got all of our friends here. It is Tuesday. It is 2 o'clock. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, as we do each and every single week, here to answer your questions about all things building a custom home on your land. We are with Tilson Homes. That's what we do. We've been doing this for 90 some odd years. We're never going to count again until we get to 100. There's no point. In the 90s. We started doing this in the 30s. We're going on 100 years. We're one-trick ponies. We only build homes on people's land. That's all we do. So if you happen to be thinking about doing something like that, I don't care really where you are. Obviously, predominantly we are in Texas. Not predominantly. We're exclusively in Texas. We have built homes in other states. Trivia for later. But letting you guys know that if you are thinking about doing this, if you're considering buying land, you have land already, or your family's talking about splitting up land, and maybe you're going to do a compound, build a home out there, this is where you come. If you want to talk about all things building on your land, you are at the right place. You got questions, we got answers. There's only one kind of stupid question, Dawn. What is the one stupid question that I stand by?
The one that you don't ask.
Exactly. Folks, somebody is thinking it. So have the courage, drop it in the chat. We are here to answer every single one of your questions. But first, we have to welcome everyone in. So please jump into the chat. Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process that you are in. We want to hear from you. We want to know, are you just thinking about doing this? Have you just started the process? Maybe you've done your site evaluation. Maybe you've met with a sales consultant. You're making changes to a home. Maybe you are already in this process. You're under construction. You want to share some of that. Maybe you've already done this. You've been there. You've done that. You had the experience. You're in there with your family. You're enjoying all the things. Share that too, because there's people here starting the process. And hey, guys, there's safety in numbers. It's okay. So if you've done this, share that. We want to hear from you. But dude, jump in. Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process you're in. While you are doing that, Dawn is going to tell us what in the world we're actually talking about today.
So today, this episode is all about you guys. So this is the Ask Us Anything. Ask us all your questions about building on your land. We are here to answer all of them. So go ahead and start dropping your questions in, and we'll start answering them for you. But
Yes,
we're excited to talk about all things built on your lot. So questions about floor plans, financing, timelines, all of that good stuff. What's a culvert? All those good things. Just bring all your questions.
Yeah, you want to talk water wells, septic systems, construction drives, financing, interest rates, all of that stuff. We are here to talk about that. We can answer all of those questions. I forgot to do the disclaimer. You have to bear with me today, folks. I got home from spring break with the family. Spring had sprung at the Alarid house, and so I decided Sunday would be a great day to go ahead and just tackle all of the things in the yard that had sprung up over the last 7 days, releasing gallons and gallons of pollen into the air, into my lungs, into my eyes. And so I will be taking more sips than usual. We have the tea, we have honey, we have water. So we're going to get through this, but do bear with me if I do a lot of muting and coughing and sipping, because that's just, hey, it's that time of year. All right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Got blue bonnets exploding all over the state. We got Indian paintbrush, got wildflowers, weeds that have yellow flowers on them, which are just as good as me to grass. So, by the way, when you cut all the weeds, all the same level, looks like grass. It's fantastic. So, All right. With that being said, Dawn, who in the world is joining us?
Yeah, we've got Misty coming in from Mansfield, building the San Jacinto XL in Hood County, scheduled to have spray foam starting tomorrow. Awesome. That's great. We've got Eric coming in from Beaumont.
What's up, Mr. Eric?
Got Ashley saying hello from Northern California. Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
We've got Melanie from Wharton, Texas. Hey,
What's
Melanie.
up, Melanie?
We've got Denise. She's saying hello from Pearland, building the Canyon D in Chapel Hill, but currently on a cruise ship in Roatan, Honduras. That's where I was last week. I am so jealous. What are you doing there? Are you holding sloths? Are you going to the beach? What you doing?
You're watching us, of course.
Yeah.
We are one of the excursions on
I know.
I hope we're on the big, gigantic screen over the pool of the cruise ship. That would be awesome.
That'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. We've got Eric saying you can count on me to ask questions. All right, Eric,
Bring them on.
We've got Andy saying hi from Needville, the 100-year hailstorm capital. Oh no.
Man, I hope you didn't take too much damage. Some crazy storms we had Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. We got Ashley with a question. Why did you take down the Shiloh plan from the website? Are you no longer building the Shiloh or reworking the Shiloh like the Driftwood? So yeah, sometimes we make the difficult decision to discontinue a plan, and that is what has happened with the Shiloh. So it is one that we are no longer offering. And really what that means is that we're not maintaining pricing. So like we talk about, all the time, we are a custom builder. So if you really love that plan, we can absolutely make it happen for you. It's just we're not maintaining the pricing. So it would be a custom quote through one of our consultants if you wanted to do that.
But yes, suffice to say, we probably have a builder or two on staff that could build that thing blindfolded. So
yeah.
It served us for a very, very long time. But yeah, it would be a custom plan, like she said. But yeah, we can build a Shiloh, Ashley.
Yes, absolutely. We got Dana saying hello from Colorado, building a rock wall in Texas Grand Ranch, and we are in the framing stage.
Beautiful.
Yay. Oh, that's awesome.
A lot of activity going on.
Yeah. Melanie is asking, do we need a down payment or do we use our land?
How does that work, Dawn?
So for the majority of our customers, they go through our Easy Buy program, which would allow them in most cases to use their land as their down payment. So what we would be looking for with Easy Buy, which is our program that means there's no construction loan for you, so no payments, no interest, or any of that going on during construction, is we're going to want 10% equity in the final value of the home. And what we're talking about with that is actually the value of the house itself plus the land that it's sitting on, because once we build that home, the two are permanently tied together. So that's the final value that we use to determine your percent equity, because that's what the bank's gonna look at as well. So as long as the value that you have in the land is 10% of that final value of the home, you would not need to make any type of down payment to build with us.
For example,
if you are building, let's say that you have a $40,000 home, $40,000 land. Why are you making me do math?
She loves being put on the spot. It's her favorite thing.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Her second favorite thing, aside from talking in front of people, but she's quite good at both. So I don't know what the problem is.
I'm good at doing all of the things. Let's see. Do I have it in here? Haha. Let's do some math. It's not fair doing this to me on vacation, right after vacation, guys.
Yeah, it's just we want to make sure people get a good, thorough understanding of what that equity thing means. It's very different from builder to builder. So,
all right,
not, but explanations are.
So let's say, for example, you've got a $40,000 house that you are building on a $75,000 piece of property. That's your land value. They're going to put the two of those together. What's actually going to happen before we build, we will have a third party give us an appraisal of what the actual value of the home is going to be. So they will tell us what the number is. To make our example simple, we're going to assume that those two numbers added together are the exact value. So $475,000. In this case, the example that we typically go through that we put together, the family has not paid off their land. They paid in $50,000 on it. But since the total value of the house is $475,000, they have met the 10% equity, because what they would need is $47,500 to have 10%. So in that case, there would be, no down payment to start construction. And that's kind of how it works.
That's a great example. And we do have that deck that I just pulled up. We actually have full seminars on our Easy Buy program. If you want to see that, as well as there's a much shorter video on our website that goes through it as well, kind of explaining the benefits of the program and how it works. So hopefully that answers your question. Crushed it.
All right. Denise is asking if interest rates have dropped.
Well, it depends on what you're talking from. So from a month or two ago, yeah, they actually have. So yeah, they seem to have peaked at at about 7.75 or something like that, and they're down, I think, below 7 in most cases, at 6.7, 6.875, something like that. Today is March the 19th. Yeah, 224. So that's for reference. but yeah, the rates have come down. So what we're hoping is that means that they've peaked and have leveled off. Obviously, still waiting on the Fed to make some more decisions, but I think we've seen the highest that the rates are going to go, which is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Ashley is sharing that she would rather be dealing with allergies. She is currently recovering from wisdom extraction. Oh
yeah, I'll take allergies.
Yeah.
Allergies.
We've got Junior saying that it looks like prices on new construction are coming down.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've seen some materials come down, but I've also seen other materials go up to kind of offset it, and labor is definitely up. So I haven't seen a lot of prices coming down in that.
Yeah, we're actually seeing some increases on things as they, the suppliers have stepped down production. They took a lot of plants offline because demand was lower. And so they took those plants offline, opportunity to do maintenance on those. And so to not flood the market with material, which keeps the price higher.
Yeah. All right. We've got Eric asking, can you talk about next steps and typical timeframes post-contract signing?
I can, yeah. So post-contract signing, what the first thing that's going to happen is the drawing that you did with I think Jerry is who you've been working with there in the spring office. So they get that work copy all labeled up and put into our system so that our cost management team can take a good look at it, make sure that we've accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, that the right things were charged for, that the right things were credited for, and that we can build what has been drawn. And then from that point, it goes into our drafting team's queue when our design drafting team, either in Austin or Houston, they pick it up and they start drawing the file copy. While that's happening, simultaneously, ideally, we can order a stakeout if we have the necessary things from you. So if we have like a boundary survey and the lot is relatively cleared where we can get onto there with you and kind of stake the home out, we order that as well. And then also simultaneously, got some loan documentation stuff going on. So you may have done a pre-approval or something like that, but then now the mortgage company is going to have some other documents they want. So all of the, W-2s, bank statements, retirement account statements, all the stuff to document. So to document the income, to document the assets, and all that kind of stuff. And in some cases, depending on the complexity of the work copy, they can actually order the appraisal. I know I said a lot of things. All that is happening in the first 3 to 5 weeks of signing that agreement, signing that conditions of sale. So, and all that is also assuming that we were able to do a builder's and mechanics lien at the time that you did your conditions of sale. So as long as we know that, then that's what happens real hot and heavy post-contract. Typically also in that time, on the latter end of that, maybe 3 to 6 weeks in, we're going to have you come back into the office and do a color selection with one of our designers. So set aside some time to select your colors, and then you'll come back in typically and sign off on that along with your plans and all that kind of good stuff. So our goal is to get you from that deposit date to construction in 120 days or less. That's our goal. The faster, the better for us. And you really, but, and then our goal from that point is to get you built in 225 days. So 7 to 8 months of actual construction after that initial 90 to 120 days of upfront due diligence. So after the stakeout and plan signing, typically all that happening, then the permitting starts to take place. So we got to know where the house is going to sit and know, exactly what we're building. So plans signed off on so that we can do foundation design, we can do permitting and all that stuff. That's kind of the next step after this initial 3 to 5 week part. Then you've got some design stuff, foundation engineering, soil samples, geotechnical investigation, permitting, and then ideally we get the appraisal back and can do full loan approval all about the same time, and boom, then you're on to construction. Hope that helps.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. We got Andy saying, really happy with choosing Tilson. We had golf ball size hail and the roof held up really well. The roof will be totaled, but so is everyone in the neighborhood. Only house with no broken windows. Awesome metal vent covers. Thank you for the quality.
Oh, nice. Good.
Oh, good.
Good to hear. Glad everybody's okay too. No injuries and all that kind of stuff. What's up?
We got Emily saying she's from
Go
Montgomery.
Bears.
Hey,
My
Emily.
alma mater, Montgomery High School. It looks very different
We
today.
got Ann. We got Ann saying greetings from Fayette County.
What's up,
Hey,
Ann?
Ann, how's it going? We got Jason checking in
Hey,
and saying
Jason,
hi.
welcome
Hey,
back,
Jason.
bud.
We've got Steven viewing from New Ulm in Colorado County. I'm still in the builder selection phase. I like Tilson, but not yet sure if they would customize my house the way I would like. Still waiting on the sales rep.
Reach out to us. Let us know who you're working with, and we'll be sure you get a call back.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Scott who says hello from Palestine, working with Joel and Waxahachie on the Harrisburg to make it as wheelchair accessible as possible.
Very nice. Awesome. Yeah, the universal design is a big demand these days.
Yeah. Steven is asking, what is the highest ceiling I could get without getting a cathedral ceiling?
I mean, depending on what home you're building and what the roof pitch is, you know, and how much attic there is to work with, what it comes down to. But I mean, 12-foot ceilings is not, I mean, 10 foot's pretty easy in on all of our houses, 10, 10, 6. And then we can, and there's a lot of houses we can hit 11, 12 foot ceilings. There's probably a handful of homes we can hit a 14-foot flat ceiling.
Yeah, some of those plate heights in the
when you walk in the foyer, I think it's 14 feet. So there's some options depending on which plan you're working with. And then we can also increase the plate height of any of them on like a room by room basis. We just want to make sure that there's a way to, as you move through the home and head towards the back of the house, and they're maybe creating some valleys, we just want to be sure that we're not going to create a potential for some of a flat valley or a place that the roof could potentially leak. So we want to be sure that it works in 3D and not just on a 2D drawing.
Okay, makes sense. We've got Miss Silcott's watching from Tyler, closing soon on our custom Fayetteville C on Lake Fork. Matt, our build manager, has been attentive and even keel through the whole process. Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
We've got Denise asking, can you explain the process and cost for getting the land ready for the slab? Do you guys drop trees or do we need to do that ahead of time?
Denise, that's a great question. So she's talking about site preparation. It does vary around the state, but what does not vary is that in the base price of the home, with the exception of a couple of subdivisions that we have it in, there's no clearing included in. Like if you go to the internet and get a price of one of our homes off of our website, that price does not include getting the trees out. Now, depending on what county you're building in, we do put varying degrees of out of level or drop is built into the base price of every home. Anywhere from 6 inches of out of level down towards the coast, like Aransas County and Calhoun County, places like that, all the way up to, I think, 24 to 30 inches in some places in the hill country will be included in the base price. So that's going to vary. And then as you move north of kind of north central Texas and then into North Texas, we include a dirt pad allowance up there. So we build the homes a little bit different up there. We don't build to the grade. In all cases, we build pads predominantly. So it is going to vary from place to place, but in all cases, we will happily get you a bid on getting the land cleared. You mentioned drop the trees, and I'm glad you asked it that way so that I can clarify. If you are going to clear the trees out prior to us coming on there, that's totally fine with us. It needs to be trees, stumps, root balls, and all. In other words, you'd want the trees pushed over either with an excavator or a dozer, and then completely removed from the side, and then backfilled with some type of a select fill, because you don't want to leave the stumps. Now, this is only inside the footprint of the home, Denise. I'm not talking about everywhere else on the property. And then we have a couple of places, Texas Grand Ranch, Republic Grand Ranch, where our pricing does include like a 1 acre clearing, everything like construction drive, all the stuff, clearing for the house and for the septic spray field, all that. So
okay, makes sense.
Oh, she mentioned cost. I mean, the cost could vary. But if we're sorry, yeah, I don't want to say I'm avoiding the cost question. Clearing an acre of land, if it's wooded, what's going to make it's going to be somewhere between probably $4,000 and $7,000. The big, maybe even 5 to 10, probably 5 to 10,000. The big differentiator I know it's 100% difference. So let me explain. The big differentiator there is if we're able to burn the trees that we're pushing down, or if they have to be hauled out in dumpsters. So obviously hauling them out in dumpsters is going to cost significantly more money than if we can pile them up and burn. So that's the difference. And some subdivisions you can't, like it's not an option to do that. And that's okay. We do it both ways. But if you're just building out on random acreage, usually, particularly this time of year still, we can push it all up. And while we're clearing, we can be burning and move on down the road.
Okay. All right. David's saying, I have a 2-acre lot in Bandera at Bridlegate and wonder what cost I would expect to have water, electric with septic and driveway put in about 250. Assuming this should be, are we going with inches or
250 feet? Yeah, because we've got a couple acres. Yeah. So 250 feet from the road, electric, septic, water. I'm assuming you're going underground, obviously with the electric. So I would budget in the $40,000 to $50,000 range to go that far with those utilities. The septic alone is probably going to be close to 14 or so, 14 to 16, depending on if we account a rock or not. And then your electric and water and the trenching and all that, I would, in the driveway, I would budget close somewhere to $40,000 to $50,000 for all of it. That would be the clearing for it. I'd be bringing in material or fill for the road base and rock and all that kind of good stuff. So,
okay. All right. We got Fernando asking, do buyers need to provide earnest money to a builder if you own your land 100%? So that's going to come down to kind of what I was talking about earlier, and it's how much equity you have in the project. So I can speak for Tilson, and what we're looking for is 10% equity if you're going with our easy buy program. So as long as the property that you own is worth 10% of the value of the final house that you're building, so the house plus the land, there would be no extra deposit. With other builders, you would probably be looking at a construction loan. So it's going to be whatever term that lender has of what percent equity they want you to have down. Generally, unless you're going with a special program like a VA or an FHA, you're looking at somewhere around 20% that you would need to have in equity for them to loan you the money to build the house.
But in all cases, you mentioned earnest money. We don't call it earnest money. Right. We take a non-refundable deposit, and that sounds a little strange, but of right now, as of March 19th, 2024, of $3,000. That amount is refunded to you as long as you close on the home. So, in other words,
that figure is also going to vary by builder.
Earnest money is typically used, Fernando, on existing homes. So it's a Texas real estate thing. It's an all things real estate thing, but earnest money is you can protect and get it back. Whereas because during inspections and due diligence, all that kind of good stuff, loan approvals. Whereas when we're building a home on your land, we're doing work, like we're drawing plans, we're meeting you out there at the site to stake it out. And so if something were to happen or you decide you didn't want to do this, that $3,000 helps offset some of the cost, almost none really, but some of the cost of our overhead and administrative fees to do those things, to draw plans, to do stakeouts, to order a soil test, that kind of stuff. Great question.
Okay. All right. We got Ashley asking, just being nosy, how many homes has Tilson completed in Republic Grand Ranch, or how many Tilson homes in progress in Republic Grand Ranch?
I know that we have completed at least 6. And I was going to see if I can go to the job map. Let me see if we have any in process. I know for sure there's 2 in process because we're building our own model in the cathedral right this second. So.
And there's at least 2 other ones. I was looking the other week.
Okay. So we have, presently looks like about 4 under construction in that area. So anyway, we've several. We're in the double digits as far as what we've built and what's under construction and all that kind of good stuff. Not to mention, we've built houses in Willis for like all 90 of our 90 years. So that's kind of our home turf background, backyard, so to speak. A lot in Montgomery County.
Yeah. Yep.
Thousands.
We've also done a lot in very similar Texas Grand Ranch nearby, same developer, same area.
And we are one of the, what do they call it? Premier builders? I don't know what they call it.
We're premier builder in Texas Grand Ranch. I think in Republic Grand Ranch, they're all just preferred builders because you're not actually allowed to use any other builder. And then we've got Steven saying, if I were to get a Barton Springs, is there a cost difference to get all board and batten with no brick or stone?
There'd be a credit, Steven. So yeah, there would be a credit on that. I can't calculate it here, but your sales consultant could calculate that. But yeah, there would be a credit. Because part of that is we'd be deleting the brick ledge itself. So I know Dawn last week explained that, but when you have brick or stone from a masonry, we don't use the lick and stick on the exterior. The slab is actually 5.5 inches wider, and that's the space that we put the stone or brick on. And so when you go to all hardy, whether it's board and bat or hardy plank or whatever, actually even stucco, you remove the brick ledge. And so that part of the credit is not just from going from stone to hardy. Part of that credit is the 5.5 inches of concrete that we're removing on the 3 sides of that house.
The whole perimeter, yeah. Okay, makes sense. We got Lauren saying hi from Como County. Just signed on a Polidoro D, and our stakeout is Friday.
There you go.
Awesome.
There's your time frame, Eric.
Hayden in San Marcos has been incredible to work with. Oh, that's
Awesome.
good to hear. We'll pass that along. Phyllis is asking if we can confirm that the Breckenridge comes with 2 AC units when it has an upstairs and downstairs.
I can confirm that. I don't have to ask.
All right. All right. We've got Suzette asking, have you built on Lake Limestone? Would love to speak to referrals. I understand that it's not typical, but I still do not know why there couldn't be a customer that might be a referral.
We can find some people.
Yeah, I'm not sure who told you that's not typical. That's
I don't know. As far as on Lake Limestone, on the lake, probably that I know of in the 25 years I've been here, probably 15 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back way further than that. Whether those people still live there or not, I don't know. But we could certainly find someone in Leon County, Limestone County, just I don't know that you're going to have that much difference of experience on Lake Limestone versus anywhere else in Leon County. So if you'd be okay with us opening up the search to Leon County, like Marquay, Jewett, Flynn, Buffalo, Centerville, those areas. And by the way, the fact that we can rip those communities off tells you I know exactly where they are and where we're building in Normandy and all those places. So we have hundreds of homes throughout there. So.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Suzette, go ahead and send us a private message and we'll get you connected with someone.
Yeah. Tell us who your sales consultant is so that we can get them the information and they can, maybe they personally didn't have someone who built on Lake Limestone. I don't know what the reasoning was in there. So.
Okay. Lupe is asking, I'm curious what size of pipes you use for plumbing in Central Texas. Okay.
Well, it depends if you're talking about sewer or supply. So let's go sewer first. So in the, underneath the slab where commodes, showers, tubs, sinks, all that goes out. There'll be a 4-inch stub coming out of the home for the septic system or sewer system. The trunk lines vary in size, 2-inch, 3-inch, but they all eventually flow into a 4-inch pipe that's stubbed out. That's underneath your feet. Coming into the house, we typically come into the house with a 1-inch PEX that comes up that's the only part that runs up into the slab on an exterior wall. We sleeve it and bring it up into the foundation. And then from there, it branches off. And what you're doing is you're constantly stepping down. So if you will bear with the simple Aggie that I am, when you were a kid and you turned on a water hose that had nothing on the end of it, and you kind of took your thumb and put it on the end of that water hose, and the more you put your thumb on it, kind of the tighter the spray got, and the harder you can spray your brother or whatever with it, right? So that physics is no different when it comes to plumbing on a home or a building. So you come in with larger, right, a 1-inch pipe coming in, and then it branches off from there into 3/4 inch, let's say, like to your water heater. That's usually 3/4 coming into that. And then from there, it branches off. Most of the plumbing that runs through the house is 1/2-inch PEX pipe running all throughout the house. And then as it gets to its various distribution points, so your sinks, your commodes, your tubs, your showers, then it steps down to 3/8. So, and again, the whole time, so you go 1 inch to 3/4 to 1/2 inch to 3/8. And what you're doing in doing that is you're building pressure. You're making sure that the source where you go to turn the faucet on to wash your hands, that's where you're going to have the pressure that you want. And it's the same logic as putting your thumb on the end of a water hose.
Okay, makes sense.
Hope that helps.
All right.
Now depending on where you're running it from and how far, that could be anywhere from 1.25 up to 2 inch, as far as like what's in the ground coming from your water well or from the street or whatever. If it's coming from a water tap at the street, we're typically going to run 1.25 pipe, maybe 1.5. But your tap's not usually that big. Your tap, if you buy a tap from a water company, it's usually 5/8 or 3/4 on your tap. And then if you're coming from a water well, again, depending on how far, I recommend 1.5 to 2 inch pipe coming from there. I have 2 inch pipe running from my well to my house. It's probably 350 or 400 feet, and I've got 70 pounds of pressure. So,
okay. All right. We got Eric saying he has 2 questions, please. What is a typical family room vaulted ceiling height for the Polidoro C?
I didn't cheat and look at it first.
First one. Yeah, I was trying to find it. But I think that's one of those. I don't know how to do the math.
I'm going to take a guess on 19 feet. It is rise over run. You got this, Dawn. Come on.
I don't math after vacation. I don't do it.
We can get this. We can get it. Let me see. Brochures and work copies.
Right.
18 or 19 pops into my head. You said the C?
Yeah, the C with the cathedral ceiling.
Let's see. Let's see what happens. Shall we? Oh, man.
Got an
Popped up over here.
8/12 slope.
Oh, that's the master. Okay. Ooh, that's tiny. Let's zoom in. Okay. I'm going to put it at about, right at probably, well, I got to figure out what the ceiling height is in the kitchen first. Hold on. So it starts at 10 and goes, okay. Move to the next question while I figure this out. I'll figure this out.
All right. The next question he had was, can I drop the front beam height at the front of the front porch on the Polidoro C to provide a bit longer period of shade during the afternoons, evenings? I think it is approximately 10-foot height as drawn.
Yeah, that is something we can put. We can put a porch beam going across there. That maybe 12-inch wide beam. They'll give you a little bit more shade. If you're facing west, I get it. You want to get as much of the hot afternoon sun blocked as you possibly could. But yeah, so we can do a porch beam across there. It would be obviously kind of lower. It'd probably sit just about to where the door comes to the top.
Okay,
it's about where it'd sit. 10, 8 on 12.
You're still muted.
I know. Because I do math in my head. 16 feet. I'm gonna call it 16.
16 feet.
16 feet.
Final answer. Okay.
Final answer.
All right.
Actually, about 15 foot, 11 and a half, but we're gonna call it 16.
Awesome. All right. Jason is saying, I know someone answered this for me, but isn't there a % discount on a full cash payment? Yes, there is. It is 2%. Off of the base price of the house. And then also because you're paying cash, you wouldn't have any closing costs or any of that associated. So that'll save you about an extra 1% as well. That's
really more like 3.5% more on the closing costs because you're not having.
Oh, okay.
Most people have escrows, right? You're going to have escrows with your 3 to 6 months of reserves, prepayments for your taxes, your insurance, and all that. Title policy. They're expensive. I know you and I haven't closed on a home in a while, but
yeah,
title policies are like $3 or $4 grand now. So
okay, well there you go.
I know we're right at the end, but yeah, inflation. You know how it is.
Yeah,
it costs more to print paper.
All right. Ashley's asking, you're building Castita on the same lot as the Lone Star. That must be a huge lot. The Lone Star is huge. Yes. And I actually object to the use of the word Castita on that house because it is about 1,400 square feet plus a one-car garage is the secondary building. And we actually are having a third building out there as well. There's going to be a steel building for our construction team to use as well. But yeah, we got a double lot out there. So that's why we are making the most use of it. Yeah.
We did. Yeah. Actually, we have a little over 3 acres. It's technically 2 lots that we consolidated as one with the developer. And we did that because it slopes so far down in the back that we really needed more road presence. So.
Awesome. Jason is sharing. We got our stakeout tomorrow. How does one get featured on Tilson Live once the home is completed? You ask us. It's very simple. Very simple. You just tell us, hey, I'm done and I want you to come out. And then we are very happy to come and show off your house because we love showing off your houses. We got Suzette saying perfect. We answered her question for her. We got Phyllis saying this may have been asked before. Can we have you moved the dirt removed the slab to keep the back portion of our land, or is your process different for laying a slab? Would you like to keep? They would like to keep the dirt if possible. So when we're moving the dirt, they want to know if they can keep it.
Okay. Can we have you move the dirt removed for the slab on the back portion of our land? Okay. So typically we're just going to scrape. You're going to keep the dirt. We're not going to haul it off in any case. We're not hauling it off. So let's say we get the form set, Phyllis, and I don't know exactly where you're building, but typically the way it works is we get the forms set and we leave one end of it open, whether it's the garage or, one large end of the house open, sometimes the master suite. And then that's where we leave part of the form not done yet so that we can get, these days it's a skid steer, a mini little, track hoe thing. So a skid used to be tractor and box blade, but no one used that anymore except us old school types. So now it's a skid steer to get in there to scrape the usually top 5 to 8 inches of vegetation off. So we want all the organic material pulled off of there, which sounds kind of strange to say because the dirt's still organic, but that's trust the science and the engineers. So we
want the organic that hasn't already rotted.
Exactly. We pull that material out and we kind of stage it, yes, on one end of the slab. And then as they dig beams, same thing. That dirt is coming out of the slab and being put to the outside of the slab. Some of it's being used to make the 4-inch portion in the middle of between the beams uniform. When we typically use that spoil, what we call spoil that we took out to start with, we'll use that to kind of dress your final grade around your home. Now, if it's not a ton, well, it's probably several tons of dirt, actually. It's not a lot of loads of dirt. There probably is a couple tons of dirt. But it's not going to, it's not going anywhere. It's staying on your land. We can talk about moving it to the back if you prefer to do that. But what we typically do is we use that to dress around the house as the house is finished, because it's going to rain and it's going to cut like little rivers around the house. There's no grass there to hold the dirt together. We use that spoil to kind of dress that up at the end on our final grade. So that's typically how it's done in most areas of the state.
Okay. All right. Gladys is asking, is there an allowance in the starting cost for bringing in dirt to level off the land, or can we use the same dirt from the property from digging a pond? Is that allowed? She is in Walker County.
Walker County. Okay, great question. Yeah, and so yes, actually already the Walker County, I believe, has 18 inches of drop or out of level built into the base price of any home we build in Walker County. So yes, there is an allowance already for doing that, more than other areas. But most of our areas are 12 inches. Walker County, Washington County. As you start to move north and west from there, we do start to include more, 18 inches. And then
18
Hill
inches.
Country, 24 inches. So that's already going to be included. And then using dirt for the pond. Okay. Yes, that's possible. It is allowed. It is not preferred. Unless you just really need to build the area up higher. And the reason being is you're going to incur some cost of the engineer is going to want us to dig through that fill a minimum of 12 inches into undisturbed or virgin soil. So, because they want the house sitting on the same type of material all the way across. So let's say, the area was kind of low lying. And so we brought in some of that fill from the pond to level off one side that was maybe a little bit lower, right? And that's natural. That's perfectly natural. What the engineer doesn't want is two sides of your home sitting on two different types of soil. They don't want one that's sitting on natural ground that's been there for, thousands of years untouched, and then the other half of your house sitting on some dirt that's been put out there in the last 6 weeks. They're going to react differently to excess moisture, lack of moisture, and it creates an unstable base for your foundation. So no problem. You can use that to level it out. Just know that the engineer is going to require us to dig through and either all the way through for the whole beam or to do hard points. And we've got some videos on those throughout. But we've done it both ways. It's not a massive cost, but it is something that you need to consider. Because I know a lot of pond contractors that they don't want to be responsible.
They don't want to haul off the dirt.
And it'd be a great spot over here. It can. Also know it needs to be bigger than the house. Okay, if you're going to do a pad for a house, that pad needs to be bigger than the house. So if the house is 50 feet wide, 30 feet deep and 80 feet wide, or 40 by 50 or whatever, the top of the pad needs to be 5 feet bigger all the way around. So basically 10 feet in each direction. So if your house is 40 by 50, your pad needs to be 50 by 60 at the top of the pad. Pads are trapezoids, right? Trapezoid. So the top of that pad, not the bottom of the pad, the top of the pad has to be 10 feet bigger than the overall dimensions of the home. So hope that helps and clears that up.
All right. Makes sense.
There's not usually enough dirt from a pond to do that. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. We have a friend from YouTube saying building a Canyon C in Bridgeport, working with Jody. Got to meet Eric and Brian. That was cool. Awesome. On the subject of water lines, from the hot water heater in the attic, do the hot lines from there go out in a series or use a spider pattern to the rest of the house? And this is Ken and Kayla.
Okay, yeah. So, by the way, awesome to meet you guys. That was really cool. And thank you for letting everybody know that I'm not artificial intelligence. I'm real. I do. Not AI. So go back to the first part of his question. Sorry.
So we're asking from the hot water heater that is in the attic. Do the hot water lines from there go out in a series, or is it kind of a spider web pattern?
They do kind of. They tend to go in a series, and then there are kind of little sometimes miniature manifolds that are used, depending on if there's like 3 or 4 hot water distribution places on one part of the house, we'll run a hot water line over there, and then distribute from there to maybe 2 sinks and a shower and tub. That there's a half bath and a bath over there or whatever. So it really kind of depends on the design and what's been done and we kind of leave it up to the plumbers. There are code requirements that they have to meet that govern that. And so as long as they do it to code, we don't really prescribe how they have to do it. They also do it with the understanding of, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. If we can do that, particularly when it comes to hot water, for 2 reasons. One, you want it faster, so you waste less water. You're not standing there waiting on it. And the other one is you lose less of that heat as it's traveling through the attic, right? It only typically matters, well, it doesn't matter really as much anymore with spray foam everywhere like we're doing, but there is some heat loss, right? I mean, if you're heating the water at 120 degrees and then you run it 50 feet over there, you're going to lose some of that heat, right? In transition. So, because it's not 120 degrees in your attic anymore like it used to be. So back in the old days, it didn't matter. It was always 120, so it didn't matter. It was going to be hot and miserable. The water loved it.
Absolutely. All right. Eric saying thank you. Guess I can let the cat out of the bag that we signed our contract and builders mechanics liens this past Saturday for the Polydura C.
Congratulations,
awesome.
Eric.
Congratulations.
Thank
you for trusting us.
Appreciate that.
We've got Julie Sharon, built to Live Oak in Johnson County. Love Tilson and the process. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that one very closely.
I know. I feel like it was just recent. Ashley's saying she agrees with me that it's not a casita. Yeah, internally I call it the casita gordita. It's a home. I like to clarify because it's not. If you look at our casita plan, that is not what we are building at Republic Grand Ranch. But we're excited about having the 2 buildings there. So yeah, we hope it does give you kind of a different feel of what we can offer out there.
There were conversations with Montgomery County in the permitting process. We had words.
Yeah. Like it's smaller than, therefore it is a little house. It's fine.
It helps to be born and raised in Montgomery. We'll say that. In that
But yeah,
particular case.
that's allowing us, we can put our entire sales team and everything out there so that the Polidoro can just be a model pretty house.
Should we choose to do that? Should we choose to do that?
Should we choose to do that? But like, that's definitely not what we're doing.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
It's bedrooms. It's fine.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah.
Dawn. Could be.
Denise is asking if we can put a tankless water heater in the attic also.
That's where both of mine are. They're both in the attic.
All right. Awesome. And then Phyllis wants to know, can we have the water heater located downstairs in the garage?
Oh, we got water heater battles going on.
Water heater, yeah.
The answer is yes. My first Tilson home had my water heaters in the garage. So it's either way you want to do it. It comes down if there's room, right? I mean, you need to have room to do it in the garage because it does take up some space. If you're going to put the water heaters in the garage, I would recommend doing larger than the regular 22 by 22, which is already larger than most builders do. Most builders, when they do a 2-car garage, it's 20 by 20. Mm-hmm. You ain't getting 2 cars in a 20 by 20 garage. So 20 by 20 is not going to get it. We do 22 by 22. If you put the water heaters in there, or water heaters, I recommend going maybe another 2 feet at least, 24 by 22. Again, we have to build a wall. We don't have to enclose the water heaters in the garage. We do have to build a wall to protect them from probably not you, Phyllis, but your husband. Probably very careless with a car or maybe a kid. It's never the adult that does the damage. But in the event that someone did, it would stop the car before it, or at least get your attention before you did really bad harm to the water heaters, which would cause a catastrophic leak, and it'd be a bad afternoon. Just build a little bigger.
Yeah, a little bit bigger garage, but yeah, perfectly good place to put your water heater.
I used to say that we required the same thing when you did your utilities in the garage, like washer and dryer in the garage. I don't think we've done that in probably 15 years. Dating myself a touch.
It's been a minute since
my dad had a big red hairy note in the e-price book. It says, if you move the washer and dryer to the garage, you have to add 3 feet. That's how it read, by the way. It read like Yosemite Sam. I've inserted my dad's voice in that, and that's just how it read.
Ashley's saying Eric had words with the governing overlords. No way. Same guy who said he doesn't understand others telling us what we can and can't do with our land. No.
Yes, I tell my children actually to train themselves to be ungovernable, except by me, of course. They are governed by me. But outside of that, ungovernable.
Question everything.
Do not tell me what to do.
We've got Tessie, Sharon. Hello, I missed you too. Watching from Northern California. Oh, thank you.
Welcome back, Tessie. You and Ashley got to get together. We got some NorCal folks.
I know. We got a lot of Californians. And that is the last question I see. Oh, there we go. They're coming. We got Salo on Building Now in Bernie. Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, we just did a Muddy Boots tour there. Just did a Muddy Boots tour in Bernie. It's awesome. Very great success. Yeah.
Thank you for letting everybody come and take a look at it. It's very exciting to see houses that are under construction.
So yeah, folks, obviously we've got a little bit more time. If we'll make this the last call for questions. If you got questions about financing, about site preparation, about customization, about construction, about what to expect, we got all that. We got a lot of water heater question going on. Apparently people got issues with water heaters, man. We got water heater problems. So bring it on. What we got?
Phyllis says we're battling a water heater issue in our current home and concerned with it being in the attic. How do you prevent any water damage if it ruptures? What would be in place to prevent that?
That is a great question, Phyllis. So the code this is one of the few cases where the code actually does this job and is logical. So there are a couple of redundant reliefs is one way to say it. Phyllis, there is a pan underneath the water heater. And by the way, even if they're in the garage, we still put a pan under it, which is kind of strange, but we still do. So even tankless water heaters, we have to put a pan underneath them. So there's a galvanized pan that sits underneath the water heater or water heaters, whether that's conventional or tankless. That pan has a drain that goes out from it to a wall and then down and out. So some of you walked around your house, you see some random pipes sticking out on one part of your house, probably coming from your water heater if it's down low. If it's way up high, it's an AC condensate drain. If it's down low, it's typically a water heater drain. Okay, so that's one of the fail safes. The other one is actually connected to the pop-off valve. So pressure builds in a water heater, and there is a pressure relief valve. We're called a pop-off valve, and you could Google this. You could fact check me if you like. There's a pop-off valve on the side of it. It looks like a little, almost like a wine bottle opener kind of weird thing on the side of your water heater. Like, well, that's odd. And so it comes off, and then it goes into a CPVC pipe that goes out as well. It's a separate pipe. So so one would be if it's started to leak. Predominantly, that's where the pan is going to protect you. That if the water heater starts to leak for some reason, the water is going to go into that pan and then out, down, and outside the home. The pop-off valve is exactly that, is to keep it from exploding like a rocket down in Boca Chica Key, like SpaceX, and ejecting through the roof of your home, which would be bad. So that pop-off valve will literally open up if enough pressure builds, and then that water, the pressure in the water will start spewing out of that pipe again outside the home. That's also how you drain your water heater to maintain them, which I'm sure we all do once a year. We go up in our attics and put a hose onto, or in our garages, much less, put a hose on the bottom of the water heater, turn the water heater off, pop that pop-off valve, because otherwise the water's in a vacuum, more physics, right? And then you open the little spigot at the bottom of your water heater, you drain all that water out of your water heater. Because calcium builds up, excuse me, sediment, calcium, different things like that will build up, and that has a negative, long-lasting effect on either the electric, anodes that are in there, or else even the gas ones, the furnaces that are in there. So the pop-off valve is how you relieve that pressure, how you break that vacuum so that you can drain the water heater. You can still drain it without doing that. It's going to take you like a day and a half. If it's the same reason that they started making the big mouth, cans for Cokes and that kind of stuff. You need air to be able to get in to push the liquid out. So that's how. So there's two. There's the pop-off valve, and then there's the pan, and we're going to be doing that regardless of where the water heater is in the house. Attic, garage, closet downstairs, doesn't matter. It's getting a pan, it's getting a pop-off valve PVC drain.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Tyler's sharing the foundation was in December, and now we're in sheetrock.
Cool.
The process has been super fast, and
great.
They're very happy with Tilson. Awesome.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that.
We've got Tessie, who's saying that she is from Folsom. Do any of the other Californians want to share where they're from?
There's a guy named Johnny Cash that sang a song about that.
I know. I've heard a song about that. Julie is asking, can you explain the warranty timeline, please?
Sure. So think 1 to 10. Okay. So you got a 1 year brick to brick, I call it, or bumper to bumper. Everything you can see, touch, smell, feel, look at inside that home, cover for a year. You call Tilson Homes. 2 year on your mechanical, electrical, HVAC. And again, this is just through Tilson. What I'm talking about has nothing to do with the manufacturer's warranties. That's a totally different subject. There's lifetime warranties on a lot of the stuff, manufacturer's warranties on a lot of that stuff, but this is Tilson. So 2 years on your electrical, mechanical, HVAC. Again, you call Tilson. We're going to get in contact with the electrician, the plumber, HVAC, whatever, and then go on from there. And then a 10-year structural warranty. So you are warranted against structural defects for 10 years. That's typically your slab and your frame and it would be from a structural defect. So there is some maintenance involved all along the way on all those. But most importantly, the foundation one, the maintaining positive drainage and or else adding moisture in a period of drought. Those are homeowner maintenance responsibilities. We have a whole video that goes into how that's done, how that works. Right, Dawn? I said that as if
yes, we do.
Jason and Christy. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. We've got Ashley asking, how do I make sure I always have hot water available and my stinky kids and husband don't use all the hot water each day? Definitely not asking from experience.
No. It's clearly hypothetical. So a couple of ways. One would be the best and easiest fix for that is a gas tankless water heater.
Mhm.
So gas tankless water heater, tankless doesn't mean you have instant hot water, but it does mean as long as you have fuel, whether that's propane or natural gas, you will not run out of hot water.
Right.
It will just keep burning fuel and heating that water up as long as you leave the hot water valve open. If you have a propane tank, you will eventually run out of fuel. So just bear in mind. So that's the easiest way, would be a gas tankless water heater. The other way to do it would be a continuous pump. So you put a pump at the water heater, which we've done this before, and then you put another pump at the furthest hot water fixture from there. And what it does is it's circulating. So you can use some timers. You don't have to do it 24/7. You can put it on, hey, it comes on at 6 a.m. and it runs till, I don't know. It comes on 6 a.m. It goes off at 9 a.m, and then it comes on again at 5:30 in the evening and runs till 8:30 in the evening. I don't know. So just like a sprinkler system or anything else. And what it does, that pump kicks on and it starts cycling hot water to all of the outlets, so that when you turn any hot water faucet or shower or whatever on that's in that series, which they all will be, you will have hot water at that source. You can run out of that if it's a conventional tanked system. There's whatever, it's usually 40 or 50 gallons of hot water built up in that tank. If someone uses that 50 gallons, it has to refill and have time to heat the water from whatever the ground temperature is, 50, 60 degrees, up to 120. So that's where the tankless comes in, but you're going to burn a lot more fuel with a tankless than you will with a conventional. So there's your trade-off.
Okay.
Tell the kids to hose off outside. How about that?
just go first. Go first. Eric says he's got another question. We're building a full 3-car garage with 3 9-foot doors. Do you think 34 feet wide is wide enough for code spacing in between the doors?
I do. Yeah, I wouldn't go less than that. Yeah, I'm a 34 by 22 all day guy on a 3-car garage.
All right.
30 is too small. 33 would be pushing it. 34, that's good. That's in my comfort zone.
Okay. All right. Ms. Silcox is saying she's working with Wagon Hill. Do you conduct the closing at the designated title company location? I got a request from Tilson to set an appointment, but the appraisal has not come back yet.
Yeah. So it's going to be at the designated title company is where it's going to happen. In a few instances, Ms. Silcox, we do a mobile notary, but we like to avoid that if possible. It's not, it's not quite as convenient as it sounds. Usually people are close enough to a title company where they can get there and it's handled much better. They can answer questions better, not taking away from the mobile notaries, but the title companies are obviously well-versed in
if there's an error in the paperwork for any reason, they can actually fix it on site and not have to come back later. Yeah.
So, great question.
All right. Awesome. We got Daniel saying he can't use his dishwasher because it leaves white stains. Would a water softener fix this issue?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. A water softener could fix that. There is such a thing, though, I found out from my wife, as soft water etching. That's a thing I didn't know that existed. So there is such a thing as soft water etching. So have your water tested. Go to Culligan will do it. It doesn't mean you have to use their solution, okay? Because they're going to test your water and they're going to offer you like a $5,000 or $7,000. Here's how we're going to fix it. But they can test the water, and then you can, from there, based on the test results, you can go to the internet and get a pretty good idea of, is your water too hard? Is it too soft? Too much calcium? Too much iron? Like what's going on there to do that? I also do. I'm a big fan of the what's the jet dry?
The rinse aid stuff. That's what I was gonna say. I know when it first came out, everybody was saying that was, you don't actually need it. The dishwashers that they make now, I think you actually need it. So get you the big blue bottle of jet dry, fill the little rinse aid thing, and see if that fixes it first. Because that was the problem with my dishwasher. Ashley is saying that she's in Lathrop.
Oh, there we go. Our NorCal people.
Yeah. And Tessie says, funny you mentioned Johnny Cash. We are in a neighborhood just across the street from the prison. His name is all over the place here.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah. t-shirts and all kinds of stuff, I'm sure. Ashley said, sounds like I need to put a timer on my daughter's showers. Yes. Or like said, just go first. Go first. Mom goes first.
I can also show you how to cut the water off. That'll usually get the job done. Father of a daughter.
Kim is saying, hey, everybody from the Bernie office. Hey, Kim.
What's up?
Denise is asking, do you need to pre-plumb for a water softener if we find we need one later?
So you don't have to. It is nice if you do. I recommend it, but does not mean it's impossible to do later. So we have a number. I mean, there's plumbers all over the place that come in and add water softeners to houses that are 1, 2, 25, 35 years old. So it's not a tough thing to go in and add. You need power, and they'll need a place to drain the discharge when it goes to what's called a regenerate. That's it. And it doesn't drain into your sewer or septic system. It can drain to the septic system if it goes to the third tank. I'm not going to get into all that right here, right now. Drain it somewhere else. Drain it go get some landscape rocks. Send the kids to go find rocks on your land or your neighbors if you like your neighbors. Or if you don't like your neighbors, whatever. But and set up a pile of rocks where it can discharge into. But that's it. They can plumb for it later, or it can be what do we call it? I think we just call it rough in. We call it rough in for water softener. Thank you. Which basically just adds a loop, and it adds a power 110, and it adds a drain. That's it.
Okay. All right. And Silcox says Tilson is looking at closing on Monday. The appraisal is not in yet. Is this common? No issue going to closing. Just wondering about timing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not common, but it is done.
It does happen. Yeah,
it does happen. Yeah. So I would call Stephanie or Randy or whoever you're working with at Wagon Hill, or even if it's Laurie or Amanda or Erica or Michelle at Tilson, and get a better picture on that with Silcox. But they must not be too concerned about the appraisal.
Yeah, they've probably been given a date of when the appraisal is supposed to be in, and they are probably confident. We also like when you're getting towards the end of the month, the closing offices tend to get crowded, so we like to try to. If we're fairly confident we're going to make it, we like to schedule you a spot to make sure we have one, so we can get you in your house.
That's a great point. Yeah, scheduling the week of the 18th is much easier than scheduling the week of the 23rd.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. That's the last question I see.
Beautiful. Well, thank you all for joining us today. This was awesome. The party doesn't have to end here, folks. We got all kinds of places you can come and get information. We got a website open 24/7, and we got new home specialists standing by to answer your high-level questions, make appointments for you at our 12 design center locations that are open 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. So we'd love to see you come out there and ask us these questions. The sales consultants are as good or probably better, actually, at answering these questions locally because they deal with it locally. They're much more familiar with those permitting that's there, the culverts that are there, the TxDOT requirements, the co-op requirements, all that kind of stuff. They're there to answer all those questions. What else? We got anything happening? Seminars and
we have 3 seminars happening this weekend. So in person and in our offices where you can sit among other people who are looking to do this and benefit from their questions in person. So our Katie and our Bryan offices are both doing our land prep seminar. So talking everything that you need to do to get your property ready to build a new home on it. And our Melissa office is going to have one of our builders out there doing the construction seminar. So you can ask your questions directly of a builder and hear all about the materials and processes that we use when building our homes and why we do it that way, which is the most important question.
Very much so. So also we got a Facebook page. Mm-hmm. We can engage there with you. We've got a Instagram page. We have a YouTube channel that's got more videos on it than I'm going to say any other home builder in America. We got a lot of videos on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And they're very informative. So whether we have the most or not doesn't matter. We have the most informative and most in-depth, most transparent process out there. We're not hiding it from anybody. It's not gated. Go out there and get it. We can answer all of your questions there. You can binge on all that content. That's why it's there. You can engage us from there, ask questions of something that you've seen. So you can go to the very early stages, like April 2020, and look at the horrible videos.
How bad we used to be.
How bad we were. How far we've come.
175 episodes later.
Right. So anyway, engage with us there, folks. We love to hear from you. We love to see you at the model home parks. We love to, engage you on social media and other places. Love seeing you in person when I hit the design centers too. That's always fun. But between now and then, we hope you get your questions answered, and we really genuinely hope to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.